Welcome out, everyone, all of you great decoders around the world, wherever you may be, male and female. My name is Logan, your tour guide. We are having some fun because we're talking about parasites. Parasite. It's the same as paradise. Parasite Decoded. Yeah, we're having fun, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm trying to do, because this reality is a joke. God is a stand-up comedian. That's my final answer. I don't know how else you'd really summarize all this kind of stuff. And, you know, we have parasites in the body. I tried to use, this is a real picture of like under the electron microscope. Pretty gnarly. Imagine getting attacked by something like this at the zoo. Parasites. You have them inside of your body right now. Bacteria, pathogens. What created those? Same thing that created your immune system, obviously. The immune system wouldn't have been created if it wasn't for the parasites and bacteria and pathogens. So this would be Parasite Decoded. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself strapped in, get settled in, put on a pair of headphones. Short and sweet decoding shorts. Here we go, Parasite Decoded. So I went to the etymology of the word. And it was first used in 1539, but it comes from, like to look to the original language, Greek. A lot of language came from Greek. And it's parasitos. And look what it says, one who eats at the table of another. That's what a parasite looks for, the host. You're the host. You know what's so interesting is 1611 is the same year that the King James Bible came out on the scene. I wonder if that's a coincidence. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's have some fun. Here you go. Through the Greek, parasitos. We're using the Greek modern. I'm going to show you the Greek archaics here in just a little bit. 51. Of course, this is tied to the angle at the Great Pyramid of Giza. You think the Great Pyramid of Giza has anything to do with parasites? Absolutely it does. Let's further extend upon this, and here we go. We're going to get into ancient Egypt, and bam! Just like that, we have the all-seeing eye of Horus. This is going to be the implant in your brain, by the way, because you're the host, and you have a parasite inside of you. That's the voice in your head. Can't get rid of it. Try to shut it off, but eventually you'll have to succumb to the voice in your head. And it's tied to antimony. Antimony comes from the Greek words anti-monos, which means not alone. That's right, the little voice in your head. You're getting owned by that. Okay, this 51 is very interesting through these layers of alchemy and numerology. And then we get into some theology and Genesis 6 verses 3. I've shown this so many times. Can we break free from this? That's the question. Genesis 6 verses 3, you'll clearly say Yahweh said, or God said, my spirit. It doesn't say yours, it says my spirit. And it says it will live to be 120 years. The days shall be numbered. And there's the bridge, the 51 and the 120. Doesn't get any more crystal clear than that. The voice in your head, the Spirit of God. Okay, is there a way to break free from that? That's the question. But as it stands right now, you're the host and the Spirit of God is the parasite. Okay? So we're going to break this down through the original context of where this Genesis 6 verses 3 came from. And it's Hebrew. You know, keep your eyes on that 6-3. We're going to be seeing that later on. That's tied right to Jesus Christ. But anyway, we do the food numerology of the Hebrew 6 verses 3. We get the 203. This is going to be the royal star of the lion in numerology, the luckiest number. It's going to be tied to Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth is tied to the Yod, probably one and the same. And then we bring this 203. And we bring it into the string of the golden ratio. We bring it into mathematics. Why mathematics in the golden ratio? Because the golden ratio measures nature, and we're in nature. This is why it's a big truth bomb in the reveal of the decoding world. 203 occupies 3 digits. Digit 39, digit 40, and digit 41. There's so many layers to that. Lucifer's in there. Television is in there. The Elohim is in there. Elohim is 41. Lucifer is 39. Television is 40. You're on television. But when we go a little bit further here and we add it up, ladies and gentlemen, there's the humdinger of all humdingers for this presentation. It gives you that 120. So you're being parasited. And is there any relief from that? That's the question. The voice in your head. No, there's not. Because that is it. As Werner Erhard says, it uses you, not the other way around. It's having the thoughts. It's using you to do that as an instrument. And then there's that bridge, right? The antimony. Antimony meaning not alone. This is what you look like under when you split your brain in half. You cut your brain in half. Every single one of you will have this shape in your brain. It's the all-seeing eye of Horus, all-seeing eye of Ra, whatever you want to do. So Ra, Horus, tied to the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, tied to Yaldabaoth, tied to Allah, all these deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they're all in bed together. They're all a big part of the big Ponzi scheme. So whatever it is that you fancy, great. Ra, the law of one, all the same stuff. That's the beauty in this. There's no reason to divide and argue and debate and all that stuff. You're being parasited. You're being used as a human being to experience this reality through. And I look at it as just a fun thing because I got parasites inside of me right now. So don't you. It's just a matter of like, you just got to kind of deal with it. And there is that original spelling from the Greek modern parasitos, 51, right? 51 and 120. Pretty crystal clear when you bring theology, science of numbers, and alchemy into this with a little bit of common sense sprinkled in there. And then we bring in another layer, the cards of illumination and the tarot, and you can see that we have the 63. I told you, we'd show you that 63, Genesis 6 verses 3. So the 51st card in the cards of illumination, typical playing deck of 52 cards matching the 52 weeks of the year. It's this almighty Queen of Spades. The Queen of Spades converts into the 63rd card in the deck, the Queen of Swords. This is mental clarity. Yeah, mental clarity that you get parasite running yourself. And remember the 63 right here, ladies and gentlemen. See the Genesis 6 verses 3. So we'd come back to that eventually. It's pretty easy to see when you bridge the gap between these beautiful esoteric card systems here. And then we get the flower of life. This is where you're going to get this. What is the flower of life? Well, you're in it. It's the matrix. It's the matrix. Flower being 31. Jesus was born at 31 degrees north. When his name was mentioned in the Old Testament, it was John 1 verses 31. And you're going to call him Jesus. That was the first time they mentioned Jesus in the Bible. Verse 31, the flower of life. That's why Jesus says, I ain't coming with peace, I'm coming with a sword. Yeah, right there. Hello. 17, Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. Pretty simple to see, ladies and gentlemen, this 63. And where we go with this with alchemy is we go all the way back to Europe where Jesus was invented, because Jesus Christ was invented from Julius Caesar, and that's the Roman Catholic Church. And, this is coming from Europe. And you're going to get the 63. It's really, really fascinating. So is the Roman Catholic Church, is all roads lead to Rome? All roads lead to Parasitos? We could say that, right? And then all roads lead to Jesus. This statue right here being on the Basilica in Paris, the most famous at 222 steps above, 36 meters above. That's tied to Lucifer, the rising of the sun. Jesus, Lucifer, the sons of God. Here it is right here in Latin, 63. This is like a big statue in that church. I covered this in my 222 Decoded, all tied together, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we have to have fun and what are we going to do? Get angry at this kind of stuff? No, we just got to have fun with this. So let's bring some solar spreads into this to get a further evaluation of what this code means. Solar spread 51, we're going to start there. Why 51? Because the 51 is tied to Parasitos. And we're going to look to card 51 here, and it's the Queen of Spades, and she sits in space number 33. And just so happens that the word Europe equals 33. And Europe is where Jesus Christ was invented, because Jesus Christ came on in the New Testament, not the Old Testament, the New Testament. And it was a Roman Catholic invention. And we now have the conversion into the tarot, because the Queen of Spades being card 51 becomes card 63. And then we go to alchemy. We have the 63rd element. 151 is the 36 prime number. Jesus Christ equals 36. And it was developed in Europe. See how amazing this is? And there's no denying this information, unless of course you want to turn a blind eye and not agree with these connections, because they're pretty, really, really crystal clear. The interpretation is pretty simple here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And then we have the solar spread 36. Why solar spread 36? Let me digress and show you. Let's go to this right here. We go to 151. We can see that 151 is the 36 prime number. And what is the 151st element on the periodic table? I mean, the 63rd element on the periodic table? It is europium. There's the 63, the mirror of the 36. The Sacred Heart of Jesus equals 63. There's the 151. 151 is the 36 prime number. So that is why where am I at here? Here we go. Bam. That's why I had to pull out the solar spread 36, because 151 is the 36 prime number. We locate that 33rd space again, which is tied to Europe, and we now have the Ace of Spades. This is card 40. Remember, going all the way back. I don't want to backtrack too much, but we go all the way back to here, and there's the 39, 40, and 41, where that 203 was, where it says, man will only live to be 120 years. My spirit, not yours, right? So you're being parasited. And of course, this card right here, if you watch my Westworld Decoded, this is the card of Westworld, telling you that you're being mind controlled. Can't get mad at it, ladies and gentlemen. See, God's using you to experience its own reality through. So it uses all of us as instruments. Good cop, bad cop. I create peace and evil. You don't have a choice in this whole scenario. That's my final answer. And this, of course, sitting in space 33. And this is the 51st card in the deck. And then you go right back to the numerology of this decode, and it's parasite. All right, so the parasite is the implant in your brain, which is tied to the Christ, because you are the Christ, and God's using the Christ as his son, because you're the sons and daughters of the God. Is there a way to escape that? That's the question. Do we get a new boss as these new ages move in? We're now likely in the age of Aquarius. Does that mean that the age of Pisces is over? Pisces being ruled by Neptune and / Jupiter. So really, really interesting layers to take into consideration here. We're almost finished with this here, ladies and gentlemen. How about if we move 51 digits into the string of the golden ratio? You know, what is occupying digit 51? It's that number 6. Of course, the last day of creation in Judeo-Christianity is day number 6. When you say the word 6, there you have the fish. Jesus and the apostles caught how many fish? 153. This is a permutation of that. IHS equals 153, tied to the Society of Jesus and the Jesuits and the whole 9 yards. So again, you know, they use the Bible. A lot of people think that they're the bad guys. Anyway, everybody has a role to play, folks. So 51 is tied to the number 6. 66, 666. The great beast below would be you. Okay, 9 is tied to the sine wave, the sin wave, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, through alchemy, it's tied to carbon. This is the 666 element. This is the great beast below. This would be you and I. 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. That will be the king of all elements, as they call it, carbon. And 6 plus 12 is 18, and 18 equals Jesus. Jesus equals 18. Christ equals 18 in numerology. All done, of course, part of the script here. Okay, beautiful. So the 252 is the total that we get for the 51 from parasitos through the golden ratio. And then we can tie that into mathematics. Once again, 252 is the prime number for the number 1601. What is the 1601? What does that look like? How about the golden ratio? Yeah, the golden ratio, nature. Because that's what you're born from. You're born from nature, right? You're born from the mother's womb. Most of you anyway, unless you were born another way. But most of you born from the mathematical aspects of the golden ratio. And Fibonacci and pi and everything else. But then we bring alchemy into this, and we have this element called Einsteinium. Einsteinium being the 99th element on the periodic table, has that atomic mass of 52. It's interesting. Mental note, tetragrammaton, the alchemology is 99. And then we just keep going with this. The Einsteinium, we look and locate the number 99 there. We got to go 191 digits, 190, 191, 191 on the periodic table. When you go look at that, it's going to be tied to the Wizard of Osmium. There it is, the Wizard of Osmium. 190 And we come down to the oxidation states and isotopes. There it is, the 191. It's got a 40% natural abundance, remembering that the 203 from the total verse of my spirit shall only reside in man for 120 years, 39, 40, and 41st digit. There you go. It's the Wizard of Oz. So whatever's running this reality has a lot of titles, has a lot of names. And as I have said, it's a big Ponzi scheme here, ladies and gentlemen. And do we ever get to break free from that? That's the question. Well, to me, it's a matter of realizing that you're inside of a yin-yang situation, and becoming lukewarm is realizing like, hey, maybe I don't want to play anymore, right? And you get spit out of thy mouth. There's a lot of layers to this that goes into these decodes and interpretations, ladies and gentlemen. Moving into the sine and cosine wave. For that 1601, the golden ratio, 252, and you add them up, and just like that, you can see how the value of the sine and cosine wave, we get 106. And that's the two base pairs of our DNA. So you're being parasited, folks. That's the big marker here. 106. And it's tied to Ra. As I showed, go watch my DNA Decoded. It's tied to Ra. It's tied to Neptune. Poseidon has a lot to say in this. It writes your screenplay, in my opinion. And to kind of finalize this right here, ladies and gentlemen, we go into the Greek archaics now. We've been showing the Greek modern, the 24 modern letters of the Greek alphabet. Here's the Greek archaics. This is tied to Greek isopsophy. And you can see parasitos is 26, which matches the original spelling of the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, 26. And when we convert that into the English, it's Jefe, which means chief in Spanish. And that's going to tie to your blood. We go to alchemy for the, iron is essential for the blood. This is going to be tied to the word sun in Hebrew is 55. This is going to be the 56th isotope, and lights, camera, action is going to give you the 56. Okay. And then here you go, ladies and gentlemen, more extensions upon the God using you as a host as it parasites you. There's the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. We have source. We have the God in the English, A through Z, 1 through 26. And then we have this finalized. We have a couple more slides left here. We have the Isaiah 45 verses 7, where it's God talking about creating peace and evil. This is the hot or cold in Revelation 3:16. Okay, the light and darkness, the yin and yang, the peace and evil. So you're going to pick one of those. Either you're going to be service to Darth Vader or service to Yoda. And Isaiah 45 verses 7 is going to give you that 64. 64 is tied to the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. 64 is tied to the gadolinium element. Just some more layers here, ladies and gentlemen. Parasite being 25. 25 being tied to manganese. Manganese has a weight of 54, and you get into they live. They Live is all about mind control. It was cable station 54 that was broadcasting a hypnotic trance. This is going to be tied to Xenon. This is also going to be tied to Jupiter. Zeus. Zeus is 54 in the Greek. Okay, so this is, the 25 is going to be tied to Black Sun and the whole 9 yards. But let's finish up with some solar spreads here. Parasite being 25, solar spread 25. We're going to locate the 25th card on the in the deck, and it's in space 47. That's Tetragrammaton. Scripted reality is 47. The Queen of Clubs converts into the Queen of Wands, which is card 35. The word simulation equals 35. She is tied to the Black Sun. That would be tied to Earth, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have my birth card, which is why I'm showing you all this kind of stuff. Kind of comical, right? Because my birth card is tied to the 47th card in the deck. This is card 58, but 8 of spades, 47th card in the deck, tied to the Tetragrammaton, which is tied to the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. I was raised a JW till I was 16, part of my screenplay. And it's the Trapped and Limited card, because you're being parasited. Okay, you're being parasited by mind control, etc., etc. And that's what I got, ladies and gentlemen. The end. So a big shout out to all my Patreons, supporters. I really appreciate you. Tons of love sending out to all of you. And then everybody here at YouTube, whether or not you're supporting me on Patreon, I still appreciate your support, your feedback, your viewership. We're all a big family here, decoding ourselves home. That's just kind of the way I see it. You don't have to, I don't want you to agree with everything that I put out here. Use logic and discernment. Be a skeptic. Do your own research. I always encourage everyone as a decoder to do that. It's really all about you and your movie, and that's the final answer. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan for Decode Your Reality. Until next time, we will see you later.